feelings. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. It means it's brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Jacob Beck, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. We're closing out the week strong here over the next couple of hours. Preston Guy with us in 15 minutes from TigerBait.com, talking some football. The Saints kick it off in their preseason opener on Sunday. I've got 4 things. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. To watch for on Sunday afternoon. We'll get to those at 1:30. We got to meet the freshmen. Got Brett Bordelon and Walter Mathis today. Scott Rabelais is going to be with us at 2 o'clock. Scott Rabelais and his team at The Advocate did an interesting exercise today. Went through the all-LSU team on the football field over the last 25 years. And before I read the story, I did mine. A lot of it matches up. Some of it doesn't. Scott has obviously been on the beat the entire time, and so we'll talk to Scott about that at 2 o'clock. We also will catch up with Elle Duncan from SportsCenter with ESPN at 2:15. 50 states in 50 days right now on SportsCenter, something they do every summer. And today is Louisiana. They are down in New Orleans. Elle is there right now, so we'll talk to her at 2:15. A big announcement this evening. Jace Matthews, big receiver out of the state of Mississippi, is he going to pick LSU? We'll discuss that in the second hour as well. So lots and lots to do. Let's crank it up the same way we do every single day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
So it's been an interesting 48 hours, right? On the internet, LSU football, injury, maybe not an injury. It's been an interesting 48 hours. I'm sitting here in this chair 2 days ago, and you get things pop up on Twitter, and you get things showing up on Tiger Droppings or on the On3 message board or in my text message threads. What's going on? Got an injury? Carted off the field? Garrett Nussmeier out for the year? What's the deal? And that's how the internet works. And pretty quickly, within, I would say 20 minutes, you had reporters, reputable ones, coming out saying, hey, I checked in on this. There's nothing to it. You had Wilson Alexander. You had Shea Dixon, Matt. I had folks coming out saying, I checked on this. Nothing's going on. But then yesterday, after all that happened and been kind of squelched, the media gets an email from Sports Information at LSU. They say, hey, I know you're supposed to come in at practice 9:45 tomorrow morning. Joe Sloan going to talk after that. Don't come. You're locked out. Well, that is a conspiracy theorist just right there. Like, they're like, did I say conspiracy theorist?
You did. That's what you said.
What in the world? How did that come out?
I was going to say something, but I was like, he kind of just went
theorist?
past it. And so
I said it, and that's so wrong that I don't even think it registered in my brain that that's actually what showed up. That's a conspiracy theorist.
There it is.
Dream. When something like that happens, they say, hey, stay out. We don't want you to see this. And I'll be honest, like, I had that thought too, because I've been part of media conglomerates that were shut out of practice because of an injury. Chris Falk got hurt, and Les Miles closed practice. And so, like, I gave it a second thought yesterday, but then I went, if he was really hurt, LSU would announce it. Someone would know. It would bubble back up, and it would be out there. It wouldn't just be a situation where they close practice, but you can come in Saturday. You're not going to delay a quarterback's injury for 24 hours in early August. Like, if it happens, it happens. If your quarterback tears his ACL on Thursday, you might try to hide that for a Saturday game. Maybe. right now, probably not worth hiding, right? So I thought, you know what, there's probably nothing to it. And so we still had availability with Joe Sloan today, and Joe Sloan was going to come out. The media was assembled over at LSU, and Brian Kelly came out first. And he said, look, Garrett Nussmeier has tendonitis in his knee. He was practicing on Tuesday, probably planted wrong, and he had some surgery on that knee 2 years ago to clean things up, and every once in a while, it's a chronic deal. It kind of gets inflamed, and he just irritated it, and that's it. And he took a little bit of time out of practice, but he was out there today moving around, and we expect him to practice tomorrow. And I believe that Brian Kelly is being completely truthful in that way.
They did ask him which knee it was, and he said I think he just said he didn't know or just wasn't sure. I'm like, he definitely knows what knee it is. That's probably a little bit much there, but yeah.
So in any event, whether or not it happened on a drop back or it is related to the surgery or it's not, the key piece to this entire puzzle here is that Garrett Nussmeier is okay, and he practiced a little bit today. He may go full tomorrow. He may not. He may go full next Monday. He may not. But right now, there's no real reason to suggest for the Clemson game he's anything but a full go. And you get to the question, well, how does that even happen? How does the internet get that? And I'll give you a guess. I want to be very clear. This has nothing to do with reporting or sources or actual trail of information. This is a flat guess from someone who is on the internet, has been to practice, and does occasionally find things out before a lot of other people know. I'm not necessarily someone who breaks a ton of news. I think y'all are all aware of that. But I do find some things out from time to time before the masses know. So my assumption is that Garrett Nussmeier was practicing on Tuesday. Something didn't feel great. He may have fallen down. He may not have. He may have just limped off the field. He discontinued practicing for a period, whether that was the rest of the day or 20 minutes. And somebody out there, GA, somebody who's working a camera, there are student workers all over the place out there. They're fetching balls. They're grabbing the bags to hit. They're picking up cones. They're working the cameras. They're looking at the screens. They're all over the place. There are trainers. And somebody texted some buddies, said, hey, Nussmeier just got hurt. And those buddies got that text and sent that to their group text, which has 14 people in it they go to college with. And now all of a sudden, 20 people know, and somebody's got a Tiger Droppings account and a Twitter account, and it goes up. That's how that happens. But my sincere hope is that we're reasonable enough not to take Tiger Droppings posts from somebody with 11 posts or Twitter feeds from somebody with 9 Twitter followers and go, oh my gosh, Nussmeier's out for the year. Let me text everybody.
I was talking about this with Taylor a couple of days ago when the rumor started, and it reminded me of the Jackson Dart injury with Ole Miss last year. And
I got a text from Ben Mintz yesterday.
Yeah.
Said, is this whole thing with Nussmeier a joke? I was like, well, I don't know if it's a joke, but I don't think it's real. He did that with Jackson Dart last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so crazy. And people are just so, and especially with social media nowadays, everybody's just so hungry for the next thing.
Well, there was a time, well before I got into journalism school, where you didn't listen to anybody but journalists.
That's true.
And now, everyone has a Twitter feed.
Everyone's
got Instagram. Everybody can hop on the message board for free.
Anyone can say anything.
I had a Tiger Droppings account when I was in 7th grade.
That's impressive.
Is that someone that you need to be listening to for information?
Maybe.
No, it's a toddler. And that's what the internet is. So the moral of the story is, don't take everything you read on the internet to be factual. Garrett Nussmeier had something happen this week. Something certainly happened, and I don't think it's a big deal. So we can kind of move on from that situation.
It's funny, though, on ESPN's website, top headlines is Nussmeier dealing with the patellar tendonitis.
Yeah, we put it up on LouisianaSports.net immediately. Now, if you'll notice, we didn't put anything up on Tuesday or Wednesday.
No.
Because that's not a story. Some John 11:47:33:13:41 says, he's out for the year, torn ACL, carted off at practice today. Probably not something we're going to write a story on. But when the head coach comes out and says, hey, here's the deal. And I mean, Brian Kelly was like joking. He's like, we didn't amputate his leg. And he's not out for the year. He didn't tear his ACL. He used the term. I don't even know if you can say it on air. PO'd. They actually said it out. He said that's what his knee was. He just irritated his knee. And LSU,
I think you could say that.
LSU is leaning into it. They're putting the picture of Garrett Nussmeier playing air hockey last night at the team, camaraderie thing. They're putting a picture up of him at practice today, and then I've got people texting me, "Oh, that could have been for 3 days ago. Oh, they cropped out the bottom of the picture. Could be in a knee brace." I'm like, I can't deal with this.
Oh, people love conspiracies.
They
do.
Can't deal with it. I'm the last guy who wants to deal with conspiracy theories. My only encounter with a true conspiracy theorist at one point was in 2010.
Okay.
So I was in Nashville, LSU Vanderbilt 2010. And we were driving to campus. Beautiful day in a wonderful city, Nashville. Got SEC football, got all the bars, Country Music Hall of Fame. There's so many things to do on a glorious fall Saturday in Nashville. And I've got this dude on a street corner with this huge sign that says 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh.
He is megaphoning in everyone's face.
Wow.
And he got into one of our friends' faces. And I was like, man, is there nothing else for you to do on this Saturday? Instead of yell at people about something that happened a decade ago that you think people that do that with their time, it really blows my mind.
It's pretty crazy.
There's an endless amount of things you can do in Nashville on a fall Saturday.
There are a lot of things.
Startling people on the side of the road is just not one that comes to mind immediately.
No, not really.
And I also am just not, going to show up on the internet and just start spamming stuff that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Because my sincere guess is that the people that were putting that on the internet weren't at practice.
Yeah.
So it blows my mind but people want the clout, I guess, to suggest I know something before you do. Check this out.
Hunt, you might have started a new word though. Maybe we'll get it trending here. Spiracy theory. That's the hashtag. That's what Stephen Miller's put in the chat.
It is the beauty of live radio. You're just not really sure what's going to come out, and it also furthers the point. If we're going to go to conspiracy theories and stuff, even though it's not really conspiracy, the people that thought that Brian Kelly faked an accent on that basketball game,
family.
Sometimes you just slur a word or screw something up.
It happens.
And I just made up a word accidentally on the spot there because I'm talking live and things just happen on a microphone. You just kind of live and learn.
By the way, I think I remember that game. And it wasn't a really terrible game. The LSU Vanderbilt game. It stunk, I think.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was so bad.
I'll give you my biggest memory from it.
I remember punting a lot.
I'm going to look up the stat sheet because I remember in the post game, Jordan Jefferson kind of talked about how well he thought he played. And I'm going to say this and we'll see if it's right. I think he was 9 for 21 for
bad.
80 yards and an interception. I think that's around.
That sounds accurate.
And that was what that team, that era was defined by. They just couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
They could run it. They could play defense. They couldn't throw the ball. And I remember him saying after the game how well he thought he played, and the stats just didn't really back that up. So here's the 2010 schedule. They won 27-3. And Jordan Jefferson that day was 8 of 20 for 96 yards and an interception.
That's a great stat line.
Yeah. Ran the ball well, 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. And it was a Vanderbilt team that had Larry Smith at quarterback, which may as well have been a creative player for all I know.
It sounds like it.
Zach Stacy was on that team.
Oh.
He had 9 carries for 19 yards. Very good player.
Yeah.
And then they only completed 8 passes themselves. So in that game, there were 17 completed throws.
I remember that game. I was in 8th grade. I remember watching that game and just thinking, this is so boring. This is just a very boring game to watch.
For those that would like to go to Nashville this year, when I'm talking it up, my dad is going with a group of his friends. He's never been to Nashville. He's like, that's the game I want to go to. He called the Vanderbilt ticket office, and there's 14 of them going. He said, I need 14 seats. I realize you probably can't get us together, but you can get
easily.
us close. They got them on the 45-yard line, 14 together.
And there probably won't be anyone sitting around them.
They were at face value.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to that game, I will call the Vanderbilt ticket office because they got tickets. Because my dad just got them like 3 weeks ago.
I wonder about how many thousand LSU fans will outnumber Vanderbilt.
It's
in
a
that
lot.
game.
There's an old story about Tennessee fans used to buy Vanderbilt season tickets just to go to the Tennessee game because it was cheap and you could buy them for whatever $150 for a season, and then you guaranteed a ticket. To
They finished the renovation though, didn't they?
They did.
It probably looks pretty nice, I would think.
Quit holding the water for Coach Lee and Vanderbilt. It's a 4 football
Anchor
program.
down, Hunt.
It's a poor team. They'll be bad again this year.
Anchor down.
Talk to Preston Guy next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You gotta believe, dream, believe, you gotta believe, dream, believe, you gotta believe, whole team on wild.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
enough conspiracy theory talk. I guess we can actually talk about some football now. To do that, we'll bring on Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. Gives us time on Fridays, and the Jim's Firearms Hotline does so now. Preston, how we doing?
Hun, are you sure about that? The conspiracies are just great for clicks.
A lot of clicks, a lot of nonsense, a lot of panic for no reason. How was your experience on whatever day that was, Tuesday, Wednesday? Were you getting blown up?
Yeah, I looked up and I had about 5 text messages from a bunch of people. Twitter was getting blown up, and it's actually how a lot of things start. There's an internet rumor out there, and then you got to go investigate. And we did our investigating and came to about the same conclusion as everybody else did.
They were pretty quick responses. Sometimes when there's something up, like you might have to work a little bit hard. The responses this time around were pretty quick. It's like, he's fine,
right.
Chill, which was comforting. All right, let's talk a little bit of football then. It's been a week since we spoke, obviously. It sounds like Aaron Anderson is back at practice. How big a deal is that for LSU? And let's talk some wide receivers. Where is he in your pecking order right now?
I mean, yeah, he's your starting slot receiver, and it's a big deal. Let's put it like this. He's a very, very good player, but I would argue LSU is actually blessed in such a way where it's not as big a deal as it should be. A lot of teams, you lose a guy like Aaron Anderson, that's a major hit, but LSU's just got a stacked receiver room. So I'm going to take that to compliment the receiving room. But, of course, Aaron Anderson is among the best receivers in the SEC and a guy who you can rely on to make that tough catch, clutch catches as well. And he's a talent in the return game as well. So he's certainly a very good player. It's your best returning receiver, no doubt, although you're bringing in a lot of talented new guys. But LSU's ultimately, that receiver room is just absolutely loaded.
How sure are you that he's their best returning receiver?
Well, I mean,
Hilton.
Is Davion Thomas better
Hilton.
than him? I mean, Chris, well, most productive.
There you go. I mean, there's to give a spoiler to the folks out there. Like we got a piece on LouisianaSports.net called Station Survey where I ask a question to everybody at the station and we put up their answers. And tomorrow we're going to run who's going to be LSU's leading guy in terms of receiving yards and in terms of receptions. And a lot of folks have hinted at those too. I mean, where would you fall in line with that?
Yeah, I mean, look, Hilton looks so good in practice, and he looks like more of a complete receiver now. Allegedly, he's as fast as anybody on this team. So I am cautiously expecting a big year from Hilton. I'm just so cautious about it because we've seen this song and dance so many times with Hilton where, fall camp, he's looking great, and then an injury or something just gets him. And I kind of don't want to get burned again, but maybe this is the time I get burned for doubting him. But I'll say this. Potential to be your number one receiver on the team, and I think whoever comes out as the number one receiver on this team is going to have every opportunity to be the best in the SEC.
More productive season this year if everybody's healthy, Barry Brown or Nick Anderson?
Barry Brown is who I'll go with. I mean, he's just such a dynamic player. Not to mention he'll get involved in the return game, so that gives him a little bit of an upper hand. But I'll go Barry Brown.
So what do you think is Nick Anderson's role in this team?
I mean, he's too good to keep off the field, but, here's the other thing. He's also a younger guy. I mean, he's got a big body out there. He's 6'4". So I think he's a guy that they're going to use dynamically in situations. They're not maybe not as speedster as some of the guys on the team, but he's a guy who they can definitely use as a change of pace, big body on the outside. I don't think any of these guys that we've talked about here are guys who are not going to catch 10 passes this year. I think there's going to be a plethora of players that they're rotating in the game and keeping fresh.
So as far as the tight ends go, we know that Brian Kelly loves to use the tight end. We know they've used it a ton the last 3 years with Mason Taylor. How do you think they handle things because every time you put potentially a second tight end out there, if you play Sharp and Green, which they've done some, you got to take a receiver off the field. So how do you think they handle that?
Well, we've seen it a lot. They're putting Trey'Dez Green, they're slotting him out a lot. So, yeah, they are taking the receiver off the field for Trey'Dez Green a lot. Again, it's going to be one of those things where I think a lot of guys are putting up good numbers. Maybe there won't be a guy who has, a 1,500-yard season or whatever just because they're mixing it out to so many players. I'd say the tight end room, the surprising part has been to me how many times Trey'Dez Green is the one tight end when they're running 11 personnel out there, when they're running one tight end. I thought that they were going to turn to Bauer Sharp because he's more of a complete player. He's a very polished receiver, but he's also a much better blocker than Trey'Dez Green. So you put him out there and you get a more complete player. I think that the fact that they're going with Trey'Dez, number one, says that they intend to get, they're going to use this tight end in the passing game a lot this year. And number two, it shows a lot of confidence in Trey'Dez Green and his development into a complete player. Looking forward to seeing a few more 11-on-11 reps and seeing what Trey'Dez does as a blocker.
For sure. They say all the time he's willing. He's just got to continue to get better at it. I hesitate to compare teams to the 2019 team. I think that's a bit of a high standard to try to live up to. So with that in mind, are you okay with the identity of LSU's team being in the passing game? And do you think they can compete for a championship with the passing game being the baseline of the offense?
Yeah. I mean, they've got arguably the best quarterback in the country who, only has patellar tendonitis now, so he should be fine. I think that you've got a receiving core that's just too talented, not too talented to not put the ball in their hands. Too many weapons, too many guys to cover. You got to find ways. I don't think teams are going to have enough talented coverage guys to cover. I mean, if you put 5 weapons on the field, I don't know if very many teams are going to be able to have 5 elite coverage guys like that, because that's essentially what you're capable of putting on the field on every play. By the way, your running back, Harlem Berry and Caden Durham, both great receivers. Now, Harlem Berry's probably more of good at playing it more like a wide receiver where he's smooth and graceful catching the ball. But Caden Durham's a guy, if you get him in some space, very dangerous. So, yeah, no, absolutely. But here's the thing. They got to run the ball well enough to keep them honest. And more so than the running back spot, I'm looking to the offensive line. Can you be nasty? Can you create holes? We'll see.
I think you're probably answering my next question for me there, but what are you looking for in the scrimmage tomorrow?
Well, I'll be trying my best to keep up with stats for sure, but, I'm sure people are tired of hearing this, but it has to be your offensive line. I mean, they've shown us some promising moments, and they've looked a little suspect at times. It's not like that 2023 defense where we all went out there and we're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Is the offense going to light the world on fire, or is the defense going to be historically awful? And the answer was both.
Yep.
They've had some moments, they've held their own, and the standard is if this unit can be average, just average SEC offensive line, we feel that the rest of the team is stacked enough to get this team where they're going. But that's a big question mark as to whether they can get there. That's what I'm going to be looking for. We're going to be looking at scrimmage. Can they get holes in the running game? Can they give Nussmeier time to throw? Can they do the things they need to do to where this offense operates? Because you can have as talented an offense as you want. Without blocking, you can't operate.
Last one here. Jace Matthews tonight, number 2 receiver in the country, according to folks at On3 and Rivals, right there behind Tristan Key. They're both Mississippi kids. He'll announce tonight at 6 o'clock. Do you have a feeling on that one?
Yeah, certainly some proximity for LSU. LSU's going to have a chance, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't end up going to Auburn.
All right, we'll see. We'll talk next week. We might see you out there tomorrow.
All right, Hunt. See you soon.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. Catch him on YouTube on Mondays with us every single Friday on the Hunt Palmer Show. Our Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. I'll take the entire menu out at corksfishandshrimp.com. You can get catering orders. You can just pick up a po' boy for lunch, maybe dinner. Looking to feed a whole group, whether it's a birthday party, feeding a youth team. Just want to have a bunch of jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy fried catfish, the shoestring fries, got the honey butter rolls, coleslaw. They got it all over there, including an assortment of sauces. I like the Cork sauce, but they got your classic tartar sauce, cocktail sauce, ketchup as well. It's Corks on government between Foster and Jefferson, corksfishandshrimp.com. When we come back, we got Saints on Sunday evening. I'll tell you what I'm looking for next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item. We prominently feature it in social.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Week's in the rearview mirror. If it's not, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I know a lot of parents in the carpool lines coming up in the next couple of hours for the first time in a little bit. Kiddos back in school for the most part, and some are just about in the rearview mirror, and that means football is around the corner. It means preseason football is here. Had some preseason football last night. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase were in action, hooked up for a touchdown, and the Saints get things started coming up on Sunday out in Los Angeles against the Chargers. I got 4 things that I'm looking for in this game. And I've said this a couple days in a row. I'll say it again today. I am as excited for this preseason game as I have been for a Saints preseason game ever. I think that's probably fair. Like, they don't ever take a quarterback in the first round. So that's never something that you're looking at, even if it's a backup. And now you've got an actual competition with an early round draft choice, new coach, and you feel like there's going to be some guys who actually do play in this game. Like, you're not going to see Alvin Kamara in this game. I wouldn't think you'd see a ton of Chris Olave in this game, if any. Same may go for Rashid Shaheed. I don't know if Demario Davis is going to put in a ton of work in this game. But you're going to see a lot of guys who the Saints are, one, counting on this season, two, counting on down the line. And I think that's fascinating. So the first thing I'm looking at here, and it kind of sets the table for the rest of the things, is what's the approach here? What are we doing? What are we trying to get accomplished? Are we putting our quarterbacks out there with functional offensive linemen? Are we putting our wide receivers out there for the quarterback? Are we playing a lot of young guys, a lot of snaps? Are we getting some reps for Chase Young? Like, what are we trying to accomplish here? That's number one on the list. And until I know that, I can't know exactly how the rest of this falls into place. But that's something that I'll be on the lookout for early in the game. You'll be able to tell. You'll know if Eric McCoy's out there. You'll know if Trevor Penning's out there. You'll know if Kool-Aid McKinstry's playing, or how much you're going to see of Alontae Taylor. We'll see if Justin Reed plays. Like, you'll see, and we'll know. But number two is massive. The offensive line has got to dominate in this game, because I'm confident Kelvin Banks is going to play. I would imagine Taliesin Fuaga's got to play. I think Trevor Penning's going to play some. I could see McCoy sitting. But, like, you're probably going to have 3, 4, maybe even 5 offensive linemen out there, and they need to dominate what's likely a second-team unit from the Chargers, right? I don't think the Chargers are going to play a ton of guys in this game, at least not for a long time. And you've got to dominate. One, because that's your offensive line against twos. And secondly, because you need the offensive line to dominate so your quarterbacks have opportunity to function. You can't have neither Shook nor Rattler taking snaps and running for their lives. And from everything that we've heard from the media that's been out there in training camp, is that when the second-team offensive line goes out there, it's very rarely a clean pocket where a quarterback can survey the field and deliver the ball. There's just, generally speaking, some significant issues up front, and that hinders the quarterback's development. Yes, at a certain point, you do have to learn to play under duress, play off schedule, play off script, all those things. But you develop on script. You develop from the pocket. And the offensive line needs to dominate to give the quarterbacks that opportunity. My guess is, and of course I'm guessing here, is that the Saints will play better offensive linemen longer than the Chargers will play good defensive linemen. That's my guess. So go out there and make it happen. Like, win the line of scrimmage, give the quarterbacks an opportunity to work, and give the running backs an opportunity to show what they can do. Because Kamara's not going to play. I want to see Kendre Miller badly. I want to see a little of Cam Akers. I certainly would like to see Devin Neal, but he's hurt. So I want to see some of these. I want to see Clyde. I want to see some of these running backs. We'll see what the Saints are able to do up front. And that brings me to the running back rotation. Like, okay, who's getting touches? Who do we want to see? Who are we evaluating? It feels like you've got some proven commodities in Akers and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're not stars. They're not Pro Bowlers. They are veterans. They can function in offense. Does Kendre Miller, if given the opportunity from a good offensive line, is he playing better than everybody else? Because what we would imagine based on the draft position is he's better than these guys. Not their draft position overall. Clyde was obviously a first-round pick, but you know what I'm saying? The Saints took him as an early draft pick. They got these two guys basically off the street. So you've invested more in Miller. I want to see what that rotation looks like. We know Kamara is sitting. That gives you the entire game to get anybody involved that you want to in any capacity you want to. I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. And the last one comes in the secondary. We have heard a lot of very good things about Kool-Aid McKinstry, one. hopes for him playing a lot are not huge. He's a starter on the outside for you. So is he going to play 3 quarters? No. Maybe he gets a quarter and a half. Maybe he gets 2 series. I'd like to see him, one. But I'd also like to see Quincy Riley. I think we're going to see a lot of him. And Quincy Riley fits right into the slot that I'm focused on, which is young players with a lot of talent who could be cheap and good. And he is right out of that mold. So I think there's a chance that you're building toward your secondary of the future. Kool-Aid looks like a 1 potentially. You still got an investment in Alontae Taylor who's going to play, maybe outside, maybe inside. Is Quincy Riley the next guy up in that mold? I want to see him out there playing a little bit. I would imagine he could play a lot in this game. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see him in there late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. So that's mainly my top 4. I've got a 5th, but it's kind of on the back burner. I'll watch it, but we'll see. What's going on at punter? What do we got? The Saints have stunk at punter since Thomas Morstead was not re-signed. He's bounced around a little bit. Obviously, still calls New Orleans home, but he's been elsewhere, and you've tried to refine the next guy, and it has not worked. Matthew Hayball was not good last year, and the Saints put him on his way. So you've got some different options here, and that's pretty easy to evaluate. I want it high and placed properly with a lot of hang time consistently. This is something that's pretty easy to work on, work out, figure out. I'm hopeful the Saints do. That's not my chief focus, but it's certainly an emerging storyline in training camp, and punting's a big deal. Field position's a big deal. As good as these kickers are, it doesn't take very long to get into field goal range. The further you can pin a team back, especially late in the game, that matters. So I will be evaluating the punting, but more so, what's the approach to this game? What are the Saints trying to get accomplished in this game? The offensive line's got to dominate so that the running backs have room to run and the quarterbacks have room to operate on schedule, on platform, and on time. And then what running backs do we see and what do they look like? Quincy Riley, Kool-Aid McKinstry, give me something in the secondary. Those are my things that I'm looking for in this game. Saints and Chargers, 3 o'clock Central Time on Sunday from out in La La Land. We'll react to it on Monday's show for sure. You can find our Saints coverage wherever you find your Saints sound. Just look Hunt on Saints. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever your sound is, Hunt on Saints, where you can find our Saints. And while you're at it, Hunt on LSU, where you can find all of our LSU coverage as well. Speaking of LSU, we'll meet the freshmen when we come back to close out hour number 1. Plenty to do in hour number 2 as well. Elle Duncan from SportsCenter, 50 States in 50 Days. They're in Louisiana, so we'll chat with her at 2:15. She's down in New Orleans watching some gymnastics. Big meet down there. Scott Ravelli is actually going down there to the gymnastics meet to cover that for the Advocate. But we're not going to talk gymnastics with Scott. We're going to talk LSU football with him at 2 o'clock. The Advocate release, it's all quarter-century team, top players from the last 25 years. I went through the exercise. Scott and his team went through the exercise. We'll kind of compare and contrast. A lot of similarities, but some real differences as well, so we'll do that at 2 o'clock. Lots and lots to do. Come back with us to close out hour number 1 with Meet the Freshman coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Go by and see them. Airline at Piku. Gorgeous facility. Feels like a spa. You walk in, the ambiance is great. It's clean. It's quiet. They've actually got partitioned little areas if you'd like to sit, relax, get some work done while your car is being serviced. You can do that as a Genesis driver. The service aisle is the cleanest I've ever seen. In the area that you sit to potentially wait on your vehicle, if you decide to do that, you don't have to. They'll come do it for you. They'll valet it in there. But if you want to stay, you can. They've got incredible snack selection for free. They've got a phenomenal coffee machine for free. And they got a fantastic team that you'll interact with while you're there. Go by and see them. You can always start your journey online at GenesisBatonRouge.com. You can see the entire inventory there, check on pricing, look at images, pictures, all the best deals they have. But it's always best to go in and just chat, get behind the wheel, see the difference. You won't regret it. They're on Airline at Piku. If you're in the market for a new vehicle in Baton Rouge, you're probably going to be on Airline Highway. Just go by and see them. Say, hey, I heard about you on Hunt's show. I'd like to get behind the wheel and see what's going on. They would love to help you. Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find them online. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. Louisiana.
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Closing up hour number 1, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Looking for a po' boy in Baton Rouge? Awesome catfish po' boy, awesome shrimp po' boy over at Corks. Fully dressed, delicious bread. And the recipe is just phenomenal. It's born right here in the seafood capital of the world, South Louisiana. If you're one of those folks, and I say this every week, but if you're one of those folks that goes, I'm from South Louisiana, like, I'm not going to go through a drive-through for my seafood. Just try Corks one time. I promise you will be impressed with the quality of their product. It's phenomenal stuff, and they've been with us for a number of years here on the Hunt Palmer Show every single Friday. Check out their menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. Thinking about tailgating this fall. Corks can help you cater that tailgate if you give them a little bit of notice. Happy to help you with any of your catering orders. corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, we'll close out the hour by meeting the freshmen.
Meet the freshmen. Freshmen, meet the freshmen. They're the newest Tigers on the team.
We'll start with Walter Mathis. Walter Mathis from Savannah, Georgia, was a 4-star product from the folks at On 3, 4-star at Rivals as well, 3-star at 24/7 and ESPN. talking about number 37 interior defensive lineman by On3, number 26 by Rivals. A guy that Bo Davis identified from the state of Georgia, wanted to bring him in. In his recruiting profile, listed at 6'1.5", 285. You fast forward to his LSU profile, 6'2", 285. So good size, not necessarily as big. We talked yesterday about Zion Williams, who's 320 pounds. Mathis is not that, but he's a big dude, and he can grow into a big-time interior defensive player. As I mentioned, Rivals number 26 in the country. He played for Calvary Day School in Savannah. They were 11-1 and went to the quarterfinals his junior year. Over the course of his high school career, 189 tackles, 57.5 for loss, 17.5 sacks in 47 games played. This is another player that, you don't want to count on young defensive linemen to play. LSU has done it at times. They did it with Ahmad Bro last year. You are well aware that, Mason Smith was thrust into duty as a true freshman before he got hurt as a sophomore there. I remember Christian Locketcher being tossed into duty very, very early in his career. Like, you've seen that at times. When you're at your best as a program, you're not asking 19-year-olds to play on the interior defensive line. And LSU is not in a position to have to do that this year. You've got really old players. Jacoby Guillory's in his 6th year. Sadir Mitchell's in his 3rd year. You've got, you bring in Mitchell as reinforcements for Bro and McKinley, and then you got Gooden, who's an older player as well. Like, they've got old dudes at defensive tackle, and I don't expect any of these young defensive tackles to have to play, barring a rash of injuries, which certainly nobody wants to see. So for Mathis, a developmental project that Bo Davis liked and brought in. Now he's a guy that Kyle Williams will coach. I'll tell you this, you go out and watch these guys in practice, and none of them really stand out as being significantly undersized. You see some lack of definition in some of them because they just haven't been in the college strength program the way that some of these guys have been in. But Mathis fits in out there with the size, and he's certainly a guy that LSU will continue to develop, try to get to the field as time moves forward. And that's the way you want to handle young defensive linemen. So Walter Mathis, number 1 on our list today. We'll stay in the trenches. For number 2, we'll go to the other side of the football for Bo Bordelon. Bo Bordelon, of course, Brett Bordelon's younger brother, comes from Newman, was essentially a consensus 3-star prospect. You're talking about a guy who is number 60 at his position, 67 in his position from On3 and 24/7. High school profile, 6'4", 300 pounds. LSU profile, 6'5", 290 pounds. They are working Brett Bordelon a little bit at center. Not every single practice, because you've got right now, obviously, Braylon Moore is your starting center. DJ Chester was your starting center last year. And then because there is competition at the guard spots, you're seeing Chester not move over to center and play more guard. You're seeing a walk-on step in at center at times for the second team, and there's competition for the guard spots. So Bordelon, again, not a guy that they're going to count on to play a lot, but is a guy that they, I think, are grooming potentially to be a center in the future. You can certainly move DJ Chester back there next year after Moore moves on if you want to. You can move Cohen Eccles in there. He's done it a little bit. Paul Mabinga snapped the ball a few times, but Bordelon is a guy that kind of has that leanness that you sometimes like in a center. He's a little tall for that spot at 6'5". I think most times you would prefer your center be closer to 6'2", 6'3". Bordelon is a sharp kid, comes from a great family. His older brother was with us in interviews back last week, and is very well spoken and had a lot to say. But Brett is another guy that I don't think you should have to count on a lot, and that's the beauty of the transfer portal. And there's a lot of beauties to it. But one of them is, if you do your due diligence and you do your job in the transfer portal, you don't have to count on young linemen. You want men in the trenches. Young kids, 18, 19 years old, have more success running the ball, playing wide receiver, trying to cover those types of things than they do lining up 65, 70, 80 times in a game and run it into 22-year-olds. It's just that is a losing recipe if you have to do it. And so as I mentioned, Mathis on the defense side, mentioned Brett Bordelon on the offensive side, they're just not guys you expect to have to be thrust into action immediately. So you figure those guys will take a year off to the side, continue to strengthen and grow, learn their systems, develop their bodies, and then next year at this time, we're talking about potential guys to step in. And I think that's a real possibility because you're losing a lot on the offensive and defensive lines after this year, potentially, depending on NFL comes calling or not. So Walter Mathis and Brett Bordelon, our freshmen of the day today. Got one more week to go, 5 more days, 10 more freshmen to get to. Been doing this for about 7 days now. So we'll continue to move along here with our Meet the Freshman series. All right, that's it for hour number 1. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Open up the show today talking about the update on Garrett Nussmeier. If you're just getting off work and you're thinking, what's the update on him? I hadn't heard. Garrett Nussmeier, knee tendonitis, patella tendonitis. According to Brian Kelly, he came out, met with the media, and assured everyone that there's no torn ACL, there's no season-ending injury. He's fine, missed a little bit of time. They hope to have him back tomorrow, and we'll be out there tomorrow as the media to see him scrimmage. So that was the top of the show. Preston Guy talking LSU football. Gave you my Saints things to watch for in the Sunday preseason opener. All that on demand wherever you find your sound. We'll pause for Sports Center. Come back talking the all-quarter-century LSU football team with Scott Rabelais. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla signs a multi-year contract extension. He's been the coach in Boston for the last 3 seasons, averaging 61 wins a year. The Celtics won the NBA title in 2024, with Mazzulla becoming the youngest coach in 55 years to win the title. NBA free agent Malik Beasley has been evicted from his high-rise apartment in Detroit. Beasley's landlord sued him twice this year for unpaid rent. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson could be back on the practice field as soon as tomorrow after dislocating the little finger on his right hand in the first quarter of Thursday night's preseason opener. ESPN's Dan Graziano.
Well, we have to see how this turns out for next week. Can Anthony Richardson play? This is a player that has missed 19 games in his first 2 NFL seasons. He is young. He is raw. He needs to play in order to get better at things like, adjusting the protection, accuracy with his short and mid-range throws.
Dan Graziano on Get Up.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. We'll chat with Elle Duncan from ESPN, 50 states in 50 days. That's what they're doing on SportsCenter. They're in Louisiana today, and she is in New Orleans, so we'll chat with Elle coming up in 15 minutes. But I'm excited for this next conversation. Bringing Scott Rabelais of The Advocate. Saw earlier today in The Advocate, their all-quarter century team for LSU football from 2000 until today, an all 25-year team. Scott's certainly a part of covering all those years and putting that list together. He joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Scott, how are we doing?
I'm good, Hunt. How are you?
Doing quite well. So set the scene for how we did this. How many minds did we melt together to come up with this group?
It was mostly Wilson. I was an unpaid consultant. It was mostly Wilson Alexander, but he talked to a lot of former LSU players from that era, just to say, hey, what'd you think of this guy? What'd you think of that guy? Which DBs would you pick? That sort of thing. And I consulted my brother Jeff, who was a kicker at Parkview Baptist, on the punter situation. So a lot of minds, yeah.
So let's. I'm curious. I have the list in front of me in case you don't and want to me to consult it for you. But if you were to take Scott Rabelais' top 3 wide receivers from the last 25 years, who would you put on that team? Because my 3 that I would have put on there jived with the list that Wilson put together.
Yeah, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. They're 1 and 1A. It seems like to me. And you can say Odell Beckham. What about Odell Beckham? Well, he's the all-purpose player because he was a returner, and I think that's a good spot for him. And then the third one, we picked Josh Reed, who won the Biletnikoff Award in 2001, who was the SEC record holder in receiving yards for a long time. But then you're leaving out Malik Neighbors, Michael Clay. These things are harder than it looks like. Honda. When I did the LSU by the numbers book, trying to pick the best player at LSU by each number, Well, some of them were easy. Thank God Tommy Casanova wore number 37, for example. But there've been seven All-Americans to wear number 7.
Yeah.
That's tough. And I went with Tyrann Mathieu, but I'm digressing. But this can be tough. So I think you could certainly make a case for Malik Neighbors and Michael Clayton, but I think Josh Reed was a good pick.
And look, Dwayne Bowe is something we hadn't mentioned there that I think absolutely deserves to be mentioned. But to me, I would have gone, I wrote it down. Before I read the story, I wrote mine down and saw how it checked out. And I had Reed, Chase, and Jefferson, and those were the 3. Offensive line's interesting. I had 2 differences, both guards, but the tackles were the same and the center was the same. How do you feel about the way the offensive line shook out?
Yeah, he kind of surprised me. He kind of talked me into Herman Johnson at guard because he was an All-American. I kind of forget that. I mean, Trey Turner and Damian Lewis were also very, very good. Will Campbell. I'm really torn between Will Campbell and Lyle Collins, and possibly. And he's just. Wilson said we're just looking at how they did at LSU, not how they did in the pros or anything like that. But I can remember seeing Lyle Collins played Redemptress.
Yeah.
Block a guy, get up, block a guy, get up and block another guy for Jeremy Hill.
Yeah.
I never see anything like that, and that kind of colors my thinking. But Will Campbell's a tremendous player as well. Whitworth, I don't think you can argue with him. Stephen Peterman, an All-American, an anchor of that 2003 offensive line. I think Will Campbell and Lyle Collins are pretty much toss a coin, but Will Campbell's not bad.
No. 5-star recruit that was the left tackle for 3 years, starting with his first spring and became a top 5 pick in the draft. Ben Wilkerson was a slam dunk, I thought, at center. My guards were Will Blackwell and Trey Turner. I absolutely considered Stephen Peterman. I did not at the time consider Herman Johnson, to your point. Herman was a great player and obviously was the biggest baby in the history of Louisiana and all that kind of stuff. But that is the position group at LSU that I think that has lacked star power over the last 25 years. Would you agree with that when you do it in relation to the rest of the field?
The guard?
Just offensive line really in general.
Oh, offensive line in general. Yeah, I mean, you've had some really great standouts, but yeah, there've been some kind of like years where you're like, yeah, it's hard when you're doing a list like this. They're all kind of blend together. I mean, LSU's had a lot of very good to great offensive lines, but none that have been like, or rarely, I should say, that you go, man, super great. These guys were like, just the best ever. And it's easily overshadowed by the quarterbacks of late, the wide receivers, the defensive backs, that kind of thing, and the defensive linemen too.
And Mason Taylor was an easy call there at tight end. I mean, there was a black hole there of tight ends. Richard Dixon had a phenomenal career. Obviously, Robert Royal was great. He played just late enough into 2000 where he could have qualified, but Mason Taylor was so good. Joe Burrow is going to be tough with Jaden Daniels coming right behind him. But running back you could probably go for days. Where would you land on running back?
I thought Leonard Fournette was just when he was healthy. Obviously, last season he wasn't quite there, but got just shaking off guys and flat running over people and speed and size and everything. I thought he was tremendous in just playing Alabama killed his Heisman chances a couple of times. When running backs were still had a decent chance to win it. So LSU is rich at running backs as well, of course. There are other players you could have considered. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, probably, he was a first-round draft pick, and such an integral part of that 2019 team. But I don't think you can not give it to. I think you cannot give it to Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I was there with you. So for me, I had 9 of the 11 exactly the same as the Advocate did. I just had the 2 guards were different. Now you go to the defensive side, and I think there's a little bit more of a hotly contested. Let's start on the line because I want to work way back to defensive back where you can do just about anything. On the defensive line, I don't think anyone could argue with Glenn Dorsey. He's the most decorated defender in the history of the school, and he was one of the tackles. Where would you go other than that on the defensive line if given your choice?
I like Marcus Spears. I mean, the guy was so good. I mean, he came to LSU as a tight end.
Yeah.
Had the pick 6 in the national championship game against Oklahoma, drifting back into coverage. Wilson went with Kyle Williams, who's now, of course, the defensive line coach, and Tyson Jackson. You go with a lot of guys. I think I would have gone with Chad. I would have gone with Chad Lavallee. over Kyle Williams. No offense to Kyle Williams,
Sure.
because he was excellent, but Chad Lavallee, can't you just still see him shoving that guy into Eli Manning to knock him down on that fourth down play in 2003? I certainly can.
2 plays from Lavallee, the play with Eli Manning, and then Auburn went for a fourth down early in that game in Tiger Stadium, and he got to the running back at the same time the quarterback did, and just blew the entire play up. But I'm with you. I had Dorsey and Lavallee in the middle over Kyle Williams, who had a great career and was a big piece to a championship team. But I had Lavallee in there as well.
And then Daniil Hunter would be a good choice of defensive end. Marquise Hill on the defensive line, I think, also deserves some consideration. But I can't argue with Tyson Jackson too much. There are a lot, like I said, there's a lot of guys to choose from there, more so than you have on the offensive line, really.
Yeah, so the defensive line that the Advocate had was Spears, Dorsey, Kyle Williams, and Tyson Jackson. You could have put Kiki Mingo there. You could have put Sam Montgomery there as well. I put Arden Key, who didn't have as long a run, but that second year he was here and set the LSU sack record. And then he was out of shape his last year, and maybe that should disqualify you from some of those guys that had longer and better runs. Tyson Jackson was a top 5 pick in the draft, but I threw Arden Key in there probably based on 1 year, which was probably ambitious on my part. I could have seen Mingo or Montgomery in that spot as well, but not too crazy. Now we get to linebacker, where there was only 2, and I actually had 3, which is the reason why we were a little bit off. But if you had to go with 2, who would you go with at linebacker?
Oh, man, the 2 that he picked, I mean, Devin White won the Butkus Award and was just tremendous, and Brady James was also great, and part of that, Brady James, a big part of that renaissance with Trev Falk. And let's not forget Trev Falk either, because they were quite the dynamic duo on those early Nick Saban teams, but that SEC championship team in 2001. But we only picked 2 because most people play 5 defensive backs, and there've been so many great defensive backs. So I thought that was a fair way to go. But you could certainly pick 3. I mean, you could add a Kevin Mentor.
Yep, that's mine.
You could add Whit Weeks, potentially. Except he has a great season this year. He was second in the SEC in tackles last year, and he could be an All-American. But if you go with 2, I think it's hard not to say Devin White and Brady James. If you want to add a third, you said Kevin Mentor.
I did.
That's a pretty good one. They the only 2 touchdowns they gave up at Florida. His junior year was when he went out with cramps in that day game in Gainesville. He was such a force inside.
It was 150 degrees that day, and he was playing every snap, and they finally had to take him off the field. And then Florida just kept running the ball, and LSU couldn't stop Mike Gillislee that day. But and that makes a great point that I didn't even realize, and I guess it was intentional. I probably would take a linebacker off the field and put as many of these LSU DBs on the field as I possibly could if given the choice. So I'm curious now. This is the most interesting position to talk about of them all, is defensive back. The Advocates list went with Tyrann Mathieu, Derek Stingley, Corey Webster, Patrick Peterson, and LaRon Landry. How do you feel about that group? Would you have added to it or done it a different way?
Patrick Peterson for sure. I think he's the best pure cornerback I've ever seen at LSU. Tyrann Mathieu, the most disruptive. I've covered LSU since '92, and before that in college, the most disruptive defensive player I've ever seen LSU. Played 2 years, yes, but God, what a force he was. And Corey Webster, I mean, it's hard not to go with Corey Webster. Though I would joke with Corey. He got burned on that last drive, that led to the Markham Street Miracle. He got burned, I think, on the first long pass on that drive. But that's going to happen. And then we really debated a lot of the other 2, Derek Stingley and LaRon Landry, is where we went with. Morris Claiborne got some consideration. Jamal Adams, Grant Delpit, Eric Reed as well. Eric Reed got that. I looked down to write down that Alabama had completed that long pass in 2011, and then I looked up and said, "Wait a minute, Eric Reed intercepted that ball. He took the ball away from that guy at the goal line. That was amazing." And so you can make an argument for. We picked 5. You can make an argument for 9 or 10 guys. A legitimate argument, and I'd say, well, I can't, and say I can't fault you there. So these are the 5 we went with. I might have gone with. I might have gone with Jamal Adams or Grant Delpit, who wasn't as great his last year as he was the year before, but still was an excellent player. But you can make an argument for. We have also considered 5 other guys, including Craig Stelz too, and he was an All-American as well.
It's just, I mean, it's crazy to me that LSU has had so much talent to where you can absolutely legitimately make the case that Morris Claiborne and Jamal Adams are not on this list. And you can make that case. To me, Morris Claiborne was such an amazing cover corner, better than Tyron as a cover corner, and I think better than Corey Webster to me as a cover corner in college. And but I can see, like, Corey Webster was a dude on that 03 team that was maybe the best defense in school history. And yeah, I mean, Tyron, you can't leave off the list because of how many other things that he did. But to me, the one switch I would have made, to me, Jamal Adams is the best safety I've seen at LSU, including Landry and Delpit. They went with Landry, who I get. He led the 03 team as a freshman in tackles. But Adams, I just thought was so awesome. And I probably would have gone with him. But that's I guess, the point of the discussion. At DB, you could go for 15 minutes and never get a consensus.
Yeah, it's very hard to have a consensus there. It's DBU for a reason, man. I mean, people say, "Oh, no, not really," but no, they've put out the goods. They really have.
I like to ask this question to folks that are in your position because I just didn't really live through the Curly years. I did, but I was 6. So it's just hard for me to. I missed the baseball run, most of it. I was there for. I saw the Warren Morris deal, and I followed the 2000 team very closely. But I can't tell you anything about 91 or 93 and most of 96. So it's a double-edged sword there. Like I didn't see the awful football, but I missed a lot of the great baseball as well. But could you have imagined in 96, 95 that we would have a discussion like this? We're talking, well, he was on that national championship team, and he was on that national championship team, and how many great legendary players LSU's had over the last 25 years, knowing what you knew in the 90s?
No, the first year I covered LSU was 92. They went 2-9 under Holman. It's try to be as brief about this as I can. They were so bad, and you're like, can they ever even get to can they ever do what Tennessee did back in the 90s? When LSU ran out there to play Oklahoma in the 2004 Sugar Bowl for the national title, and I'd covered other national championship games in New Orleans, with other teams, Florida State, Miami, Alabama. I was like, LSU's going to play for the national. I couldn't believe it because of as low as the program had sunk, and then for them to have won, because the '58 team was always this legendary, mythic team that their legend grew so much over the years, Billy Cannon, the Chinese Bandits and everything, that they could never do anything to match that. And this is the golden era. I mean, this has been the golden era of LSU athletics, this time period that we're talking about, and it continues to be. And wouldn't put it past me for them to win another national championship in the next few years.
Let's hope they do it this year. That'd be fun. So we'll go kick it off in 3 weeks. Scott will be there, and you can catch him weekly on Sports Today. Good enough to give us some time here on this Friday. Have a great weekend, Scott. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was fun. Thank you.
He is Scott Rabelais with The Advocate. If you want to check out the all quarter century team, you can do that over at theadvocate.com. Again, my disagreements, I had Will Blackwell and Trey Turner at guard. Stephen Peterman and Herman Johnson were the picks from Wilson and The Advocate. I would have had Arden Key and Chad Lavallee as opposed to Child Williams and Tyson Jackson. And the Arden Key pick is a tough one because
that's surprising to me.
Well, he was good as a freshman, and he was outstanding as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Set the sack record, and then he got out of shape, and he just couldn't play after that. But when his best, they couldn't block him. You had to change the way you played offense for that 1 year when Ogeron was his D-line coach. I mean, he was unbelievable, and that's probably too short a star for me to really give that much credence to.
Yeah, a little bit of a similar arc to like what Mason Smith kind of did, where he came in and was just unbelievable, and everybody thought this guy is going to be the next great at LSU, and just injuries and all that stuff happened. So,
but to me, and the one that I'll stand firm on, to me, Jamal Adams is the best safety I've seen. And Laron Landry was awesome, and Grant Delpit was awesome, and Eric Reed was awesome, and they've had some great ones. But Adams, I can still see just looked like he was shot out of a cannon.
His NFL career kind of attests to that as well.
Yeah. I mean, he was a top third pick in the draft.
Yeah, and like he ended up becoming one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL at one point. He was
pretty
really good.
All right, we come back.
Before you go, though, a little housekeeping. You did say that Scott Rabelais weekly appears on Sports Today. Just thought I'd note that.
That's not right. That would be Live at Lunch, which is the same as it ever was.
It's the same show.
As Sports Today. My bad. It's Live at Lunch. When we come back, we'll talk with Elle Duncan from Sports Center. They are in New Orleans for for 50 states in 50 days. Come back with us.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com is that website. It is storm season. You know that. Do you know what your insurance policy says about your commercial situation when a storm comes through? Do you know what your business interruption limit is? Do you know how you got to that number? If that's an answer you may not know the answer to, you don't know if you've got a 1/12 monthly limitation. You don't know what happens if you can't work. It's a big deal. And when I was in the insurance industry, I saw it save businesses. Do you know what your property policy says? Do you know what your building valuation is? Do you know what co-insurance penalties you might incur if you're underinsured? All of this is vital in the wrong situation. And we never know when those are going to come. We just know that it's always possible around here this time of year. So call the Highland Insurance Group. Check them out online at HighlandIG.com. Call Jonathan Carbo and say, hey, I'm a little nervous about what my property insurance may say. I know I got the cheapest one, but I'm not sure what it may say. Business can't afford to pay premiums and then not be covered when that storm goes through. That's what the Highland Insurance Group does. They make sure that your coverage is properly written. So go to HighlandIG.com, fill out that form to contact them. They'll give you a call and make sure that they audit your policy for free and that you're taken care of. It's the Highland Insurance Group. You can find them online at HighlandIG.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Back here, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Moving right along here in the 2 o'clock hour. Now time to head out to the Jim's Firearms Hotline. We find our next guest, Elle Duncan from ESPN. 50 states in 50 days. They'll be in Louisiana today from the Big Easy. Elle, thanks for a little bit of time here on this Friday. How are you?
I'm doing great, Hunt. I'm sitting here at the Columns Hotel/restaurant, and, well, if I didn't have to go on air in a few hours, I would be having a Sazerac. But I love New Orleans, so it's great.
I've had many a cocktail at the Columns in my day right there on St. Charles. I saw you a peek at your prep for Sports Center New Orleans. You had the playlist going, a lot of juvenile rocking. It sounds like you're right at home in New Orleans is what it sounds like.
Yeah, so, I'm originally from Atlanta, so I have spent a ton of time in New Orleans for major events, for not so major events. I absolutely love this city. I feel like this is maybe one of the only cities in the whole country where if someone blindfolded you and just dropped you in the middle of it and didn't tell you where you were, you'd be able to identify it right away. It's just got its own swag and culture and smell and vibe, and I just absolutely love it here.
So obviously when people think New Orleans, you think Bourbon Street, you think Mardi Gras, you think New Orleans Saints if we're talking sports. But y'all generally with this 50 States in 50 Days deal have kind of found something around the corner. Tell us kind of what your plans are while you're here in New Orleans.
Yeah, so we're actually here for the Xfinity U.S. Olympics Gymnastics National Championships, which we're super excited about because you're right. I mean, typically when we're here for football, right? I was just here for the Super Bowl, and before that I was here for the National Championship. But this is going to be a super cool event that's happening at the Smoothie King Center, and we're actually joined on our broadcast by Kaya Johnson, who was a gymnast at LSU, helped them win the national championship just last year. And this is a really cool opportunity, as she even explains it, for some of the younger U.S. gymnasts that are not Simone Biles or Jordan Childs to come and sort of show their chops. We had the Olympics just a year ago, but these gymnasts are already back on the mat trying to sort of prove their salt and their worth in hopes to make the 2028 Olympic team. So this is like really their first big major competition, which will sort of put them on the path to joining the official Olympic team. And I can't wait. I did a little beam demo. I didn't fall and bust my face, so that was great, and it's going to be a good show.
I'm shocked in my time down here in South Louisiana, which has been 18 years, but I've lived in Louisiana my whole life. Football's always been king around here. LSU baseball is a massive brand. Certainly Kim Mulkey and women's basketball have been huge. But what gymnastics has become down here from an LSU perspective is unbelievable to me. Jay Clark, who's a Georgia Bulldog, who's the coach here, has won a national championship. And he and Dee Dee Brew have built this massive following. They pack the PMAC constantly in the spring. So I would imagine a pretty good environment down there for gymnastics. It's kind of become a hotbed over the last decade, I would think.
It really has, and I think you're right. The LSU brand is that of, excellence, right? Like really with any sport, baseball, football, all those things. But, just even with talking with Kai about it, she's like, not only are we elite gymnasts, we have the full breadth of the school behind us, and also it's just the perfect time because women's sports are over-indexing right now, in particular gymnastics. I mean, gymnastics was always sort of an every 4-year thing, right? It was an Olympic thing, and it's a huge Olympic sport, but then when it came to sort of the college level, it wasn't quite where we're seeing it right now, which is just, massive ratings, tons of attention, particularly for LSU. Livy Dunn had a little something to do with that. But I think, we're just sort of seeing the growth of women's sports in general and LSU really peaking at exactly the right time. It is really cool to see. I'm from the South too, right? So to see a town that's known for their football, that's known for their baseball, really embrace women's gymnastics has been awesome.
Elle Duncan's our guest. She's with ESPN, 50 States in 50 Days. They're in New Orleans for their Louisiana stop today. I'm curious, when you come down to New Orleans, is there a dish you're looking for? Is there a restaurant you'd love to hit? What's your kind of spot or your favorite thing to get while you're in New Orleans?
Well, I mean, clearly gumbo, and in fact, I just had that at the Columns. It was fantastic. Yesterday, I actually got a chance to do a Bananas Foster demo at Brennan's, and I've been to Brennan's a lot. I really like Brennan's. I know it's coming up on 80 years that it's been around in New Orleans. But I didn't realize that Brennan's is the ones that actually invented and created Bananas Foster back in 1951. So that was super cool. I'm also just, when it comes to New Orleans, I'm a big fan of talk to a local and just ask them where you should go. Because I am all about going to somewhere fancy like the Columns and also going somewhere more hole in the wall as well. So I kind of just see where the music and the vibe takes me, but I always make sure to get a little stopover at Brennan so I can get a good dessert. And I always make sure to go and get, at any point, a shrimp bow boy and a char-grilled oyster. I don't care where it comes from. I just need to get those things while I'm here.
It is. It's a one-of-a-kind city for sure. You're making me hungry at this current point.
I would gain at least 10 pounds when I'm here.
Look, this 50 States in 50 Days thing is so cool. I've been watching kind of from afar. I know that this is something that is planned out months in advance, and y'all do a lot of work on making this happen. But what has that experience been like for you to kind of tour the country, and is there a spot or two that surprised you?
Well, I think it's been amazing. I got to go home to Atlanta for MLB All-Star. Went out to LA for the ESPYs, and then Indianapolis for WNBA All-Star. I would say the surprising place for me has been Minneapolis. I've been to Minneapolis before, but always in the winter. And while they do a great job of protecting you from the elements in the winter, I've never been when it's nice out. I had such an amazing time in Minneapolis, going out to Vikings training camp, walking around the city, walking around the lakes. It's a wonderful place. But I think that you absolutely hit it, Hunt. Like, I have to give the most credit to our production crew, because it is no easy feat to plan 50 states in 50 days. Not only are they trying to figure out sports scheduling, because there has to be a sports angle to it all, right? Like, we're not just going and, like, having Bananas Foster and that's it. Like, there's got to be a sports angle. So they're finding 50 different sports angles that align. They're making this massive effort to hire crew that's local, to bring in talent. They have done it so seamlessly. I have been to 6 of these now, and it is done in such a seamless way. We love GMA. Obviously, GMA is part of our family. They're doing 50 states in 50 weeks. And, like, all of our production crew is like, that would be nice. We're doing 50 states in 50 days. So I give them the most credit in the world for how hard they've worked to make this as seamless as it is. But it's been for me, I've gone to states that I've already been to. It's been so cool to watch my colleagues go to places like North Dakota and South Dakota and Wyoming, and to not only experience the culture there, but also be reminded of the famous athletes that have come from there, some of the more famous sports moments that have come from there. It's been a little bit of a lesson for us all, and that's been great.
Is there a place that is coming up that you're excited to go to, maybe that you haven't been, or that you're excited to go back to?
I am done. New Orleans is my last stop. So I look for, this is state number 43. We only have 7 left. Okay. I believe that Kevin, my co-host on the 6 p.m. Sports Center, is ending at the Little League World Series, which is so cool and always such a cool experience for him as well. I think I'm most looking forward to being able to just sit my butt down for a minute, because it's been quite a summer. But I loved watching, Hannah Storm in Hawaii. I love watching my guys, Randy and Gary, pillow fight at the Wide World of Sports in Orlando. It's been really, really phenomenal. I look forward to seeing sort of what's next. Little League Softball World Series is also happening as well right now in North Carolina with one of our colleagues. So it's just really been really cool to sort of see what they can pull out.
So let everybody down here in South Louisiana know, like, what's coming up this evening. I know that you'll be live. Where can they find it, and at what time?
Absolutely. 5 p.m. local time on ESPN, and we will be coming to you from the Smoothie King Center and getting you set for what should be an amazing competition for the gymnastics world.
Last one here. I know you're a Georgia Bulldog. No national championship last year. I don't even know what happened. How is that possible? None for the last 2 years. Do you think think Kirby rallies the troops again this year and gets them back into the playoff with a chance to win it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the bread and butter for Georgia for a long time has been their defense, and they took a bit of a step back last year. And I think, honestly, that's probably the biggest reason that we were unable to make the national championship with all the turnover at quarterback. Really interested to see what Gunner's got, knowing that he's the starter with a full complement under his belt. I do think people are sort of overestimating how good Texas is going to be. So we'll see. I'm going to let my dogs do the talking, but I will say this. They are motivated, they are angry, and the idea that everybody seems to think that Texas is going to be better than they are undoubtedly has plenty of bulletin board material for one Kirby Smart.
Texas is going to have to head to Athens, Georgia later on this fall. We'll be at it in 3 weeks with some college football. 50 states in 50 days in New Orleans this evening. Elle Duncan, good enough to give us a little bit of time on this Friday. Thanks so much, and enjoy the time at home when you get there.
I will. Thank you, Hunt.
That is Elle Duncan with ESPN.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is that website. Every car that's on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. Look, the warranties are phenomenal. It's industry leading is the term that was used when I was chatting with the folks over at Genesis. You talk about 10 years, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. How about 5 years, 60,000 miles bumper to bumper? You can get enhanced roadside assistance, 5 years, unlimited miles there. And then you get your complimentary scheduled maintenance, valet, 3 years, 36,000 miles. That means they come to you. Folks generally don't love spending an entire morning on the service aisle. Sit there, watch Price is Right. It's not exactly a productive part of your morning while you wait for them to get to your vehicle. All that happens. Well, you don't need to do that because they'll come to you. So you can be at work, you can be at home, say, hey, need that scheduled maintenance, need to get the oil changed, need to change that wiper fluid, go ahead and get the air filter done. They can handle all that and then bring it back to you. It's just part of the service over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. It's first-class people. It's a first-class line of vehicles. It's a first-class facility. It's a luxury vehicle at a reasonable price. That is the model at Genesis of Baton Rouge. So go by and see him, Airline at Pico. Check out the inventory up online at genesisofbatonrouge.com, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
It's about 25 minutes to go here on a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We got some breaking news of the troubling variety here. Chris Nakamoto over at WAFB with a report online. LSU freshman running back JT Lindsey turned himself into University Police early on Friday afternoon, so very recently, considering it's 2:35 on Friday right now. He had a warrant out for his arrest on accessory after the fact. The charge stemming from allowing 2 men wanted for murder to stay at his dorm room on the LSU campus earlier this year. Chris Perrette is his defense attorney, is quoted in this, well, not quoted, but it is says that Lindsey was unaware the individuals were wanted for murder and was at football camp as this all played out. I know, and that's the report. That's all I know at this point. That JT Lindsey had a warrant out for his arrest for accessory after the fact. The charges say that he allowed 2 men charged for murder to stay at his dorm, and that his attorney says that he was unaware they were wanted for murder and wasn't there. I also can tell you that we were talking to Bo Bordelon on Saturday, and Bo Bordelon said that they are busing to and from camp from the hotel, and there's not really else to do. So my understanding is that they are staying together off-site during camp. I don't know where Lindsey's staying. I don't know if he's staying in his dorm room or not. I'm just putting two and two together based on the conversation we had with one of the veteran players. Now, West Weeks also told us that Witt was staying in the dorm with the freshmen. So I don't know if that means that's what he's doing this coming semester and the team is at a hotel. I'm not 100% sure about that. Obviously, this is a troubling situation, and we'll see how things play out legally, and I'll kind of leave the legalese there. I will tell you that my concern a week ago, prior to any of this breaking, was that LSU at the running back spot is thin. You've obviously got Caden Durham. You've obviously got Caleb Jackson. You've got Harlan Berry. But Trey Holly is enrolled at Southern, and now JT Lindsey has turned himself in to campus police. So who knows how that plays out, what that means for him, how quickly things move along, whether or not there will be a suspension, whether or not he can play. I'm not sure. But now Juwan Johnson's development and continued participation at running back is vital to what LSU's doing. Because you cannot enter a season with Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, Harlan Berry. That's it. That's not nearly enough. Because you don't play a season where a running back doesn't get banged up and have to come off the field and may have to miss a quarter or a half or a week or a month. Running backs get banged up. It happens. And so to go into a situation where you've only got 3 scholarship guys at tailback, that doesn't work. So Juwan Johnson, for my money right now, is a running back. He doesn't need to spend any time with the quarterbacks. He needs to spend all his time learning how to pass protect, learning the routes out of the backfield, learning what holes he needs to hit on what runs. He is a running back to me right now based on what I know. And my feeling right now is that J.D. Lindsey's probably not going to be at practice tomorrow. That's a complete guess on my part. But that's my sense of how this generally goes. I have no idea whether or not J.T. Lindsey knew these guys were accused of murder, knew when they were staying there. I don't know any of that. I'm just talking from a football perspective after reading the report from WFB. And if you're jumping in and listening to me going, what the heck is he talking about? JT Lindsey turned himself in to campus police Friday afternoon. An arrest warrant was issued on a charge of accessory after the fact. 2 men, one for murder, stayed at his dorm, and that's why he was arrested. So this is something absolutely to monitor for LSU, because I still, as I look at the running back situation right now, I feel like LSU has enough talent. Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, and Harlan Berry, and Juwan Johnson even, that's enough talent. It's light on depth. And so that's something that Frank Wilson's going to have to take into account, and you just have to hope sincerely that you stay healthy, relatively speaking, at that spot. It's troubling for a number of reasons. And like on this show, I generally try to stay between the white lines. And when something happens well outside of the white lines, my general process is, okay, report what folks are saying, and then let the court handle its business. We're not going to comment on things we don't know about, and we're not going to comment on things that are speculative. I know what has happened. He turned himself in. I know why he was arrested. And beyond that, I don't know what happens moving forward. But LSU at running back now really thin at that spot, as JT Lindsey will have to deal now with a criminal trial there here in Baton Rouge. All right, quick segment there. Went a little bit long with Scott, and then we had a great conversation there with Elle about 50 states in 50 days. We still got 15 minutes to go here, and I want to talk about an announcement that's coming tonight from a recruiting perspective. I didn't want to transition out of legal talk to do recruiting, so we'll take a time out. We'll come back. We'll talk a little recruiting. We'll play some Take It or Leave It. We will get on down the road here on this Friday. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, closet space is a big deal to a lot of folks. And if you have a situation that's just untenable from a closet spot, you just don't have enough room. You've got stuff in different rooms. You got suitcases that don't fit. You're throwing stuff in the attic. You don't have room for all your shoes. You're moving in and you don't have room with the person you're moving in with. Customize your closet. David Duvall is happy to do it. Sometimes it's easy as you've got the space. We got to better use your space. They'll go in and put some accessories together, better organize things, and get you on your way. Sometimes they got to put a new closet in. And they can do that as well. If you want that done, don't go with the handyman down the street who's got a big hammer. Go with the company that's doing this for 3 decades, that's licensed, bonded, and insured, and let David and his team help you. Go to the website, onebathandclosets.com, and look at the great pictures. Custom work, functional work, gorgeous work right there in your home. Think of the difference it could make if you had a brand new closet. David Duvall is happy to do it for you. Get that free consultation today at onebathandclosets.com. He'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. It's One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, a little bit more breaking news. Want to remind you our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Looking for dinner this evening? Swing on by Corks. Get a big old catfish platter, jumbo Gulf shrimp. Grab a po' boy, shoestring fries, always crispy and delicious. And their sauces are fantastic as well. Check out that for the football season to come. All right, some news coming out via Twitter. Peak Events host these February, early March college baseball tournaments. LSU has played in Round Rock a couple of years ago, played in Frisco this past year, and the announcement was made that LSU was headed back to Round Rock in 2026. That is not going to happen. That was announced via that Twitter feed, and LSU echoed it, saying that they would be in a different peak events tournament this coming winter into the spring. And so I was like, well, I'm not sure where they all are. Let me go look. And I'll tell you, there are 4 peak events tournaments. You got Frisco that LSU played in last year. I know because I didn't get to go because Keller was inconveniencing me from the womb and did not allow me to go watch baseball and play golf at a major championship venue. Instead, I had to sit home and wait for him to maybe be born, which he wasn't. Didn't come till the next week, so that's his fault. I didn't get to go. I'm not bitter about it or anything, even though he wasn't even born yet. But I didn't get to go. I don't think they're going back there. They could. I don't think they'll go back. Then you got Round Rock where they're not going. We know that. So what does that leave? It leaves 2 other spots. The Las Vegas College Baseball Classic, which would be pretty cool. I don't know how many people would pack up and head out to Vegas after LSU was just there last year, but it's generally a pretty fun trip. Then you got the Jacksonville College Baseball Classic, which over there in Florida is good weather spot and a spot that Alabama was this past year, and they certainly have LSU teams, so SEC teams. So I would imagine LSU probably headed to Jacksonville or Las Vegas. That is my sincere guess, even though they could theoretically go back to Frisco. We'll see. But they're not headed to Round Rock. So as soon as more information becomes available, which LSU says it will very soon, we'll get it to you. You find out your schedule sometime late in the fall. I think around November they release the college baseball schedule. So we'll see just what comes of all of that. All right. LSU recruiting, some news tonight. Jace Matthews going to make his decision, number 2 wide receiver in the country. It's LSU and Auburn. Seems like Auburn's been the leader. If LSU can pull this off, you get 2 of the top wide receivers in the country, Tristan Key and Jace Matthews. So we'll see what comes of that. 6 o'clock is the scheduled announcement time. So we'll have you updated on LouisianaSports.net, and I'm sure Matt will have some information over that over the next 3 hours or so. My pick, I think he probably stays at Auburn. We asked Preston Guy that as well. LSU's got a proximity edge and, quite frankly, a position lineage edge at the spot, but we'll see what he decides to do. So that's the announcement for tonight. We'll react to it on Monday's show. Beck, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take it or leave it.
Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer. It's the weekend. You're knocking off of work, heading by wherever it is that you pick up your cold beers. Find Flight by Yingling. You can find it there. It's light, it's crisp, refreshing. Got all the attributes of a light beer. Of course, 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, plus all that flavor that you're looking for from a cold beverage. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, first one. I missed this yesterday. Yesterday in history, August 7th, 2007. That was the day that Barry Bonds hit the 756th home run of his career, of course, breaking Hank Aaron's record. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
I'll take
best hitter I ever saw. Stole 40 bases in a season. Was just a phenomenal player before he did steroids.
Yep.
And he did steroids, and he was even better. I'm desensitized to the entire era. My hero growing up was Sammy Sosa. He cheated multiple ways. I don't care. I would care if it happened when I was 50. I was not. I was 10. So Barry Bonds, best hitter these two eyes have ever seen. He got like 3 pitches a week to hit, and he hit them all over the fence. I'll take that guy in the Hall of Fame, yes.
Yes, I agree with you. I would say that I think it's pretty clear that regardless of whether or not he ever, even if he had never done steroids, no, he probably would have not hit 756 home runs, but he still would have been a Hall of Famer. He was an incredible player before, and he wasn't even, as you said, even better after. So I agree with you there. Last one, Cubs-Cardinals tonight. Matthew Boyd on the mound. Cubs win. Take it or leave it.
Take it. I'll take it. Dorkiest organization in the league.
They suck.
They probably should definitely win that series.
Yeah.
Hate to see the Cardinals just falling on hard times, just not winning the division once
Really
again.
unfortunate.
Hate to see that. Can't recover from Yachty moving on, I guess.
Wilson Contreras having a decent season.
He is. I still love Willie, but he's pushing it with his comments and some of the things he's done on the field.
But
But
not
look,
like that.
it's my guy Willie. Was part of the World Series team. Was the heartbeat after they traded everybody. Hit a game-winning home run the last time I was at Wrigley. So I love Willie, just not tonight.
Yeah.
Don't like the Cardinals at all. They're dorks. Think they invented baseball. They did not invent baseball, in fact.
Yeah, they didn't.
And we will beat them all 3 games this weekend. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident.
I am too.
I'm feeling awesome. I don't know who the Brewers play this weekend. Probably the Mets, I think. I remember Frank the Tank saying that.
See.
So maybe the Mets will do
got
something.
the Mets, yeah.
The Mets are decent.
They
They're
are.
playing awful. Maybe they'll win some games this weekend.
Maybe so, yeah.
I'm gonna watch all 9 innings tonight. Looking forward to that. Probably gonna have to watch some Blippy to start, but I'll have it on my phone once Kid goes to sleep, which will probably push up a couple minutes so I can watch the Cubs.
Yeah, 7:15.
We'll lock it in.
What is the bedtime usually, like 8?
We start winding down about 8:10.
Okay. You
But
can,
if
you
he
can
wants-
knock it off a little bit earlier.
He's been wanting to play football in the living room, and that means he's not watching TV, so I can play football with the game on, which is what we're looking
Well, yeah, and then it also wears him out a little bit,
for.
probably.
It does. But we're trying to wind down. We don't want to get too
Well,
hyper.
that's true. That's true.
So we'll see. You'll learn.
Yeah, I will.
You'll learn.
It's crazy to think about the fact that the Cubs it's almost been 10 years since they won. That makes me feel pretty old.
Nobody's left.
No. That's it.
That is it for Take It or Leave It and our Friday show brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Big shout out to Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. Big shout out to L. Duncan from Sports Center. Shout out to Scott Rabelais for coming on and talking about their all quarter century team over at the Advocate. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. We're done. We'll see you Monday reacting to preseason football and an LSU scrimmage on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
We typically